In December 2016, high school students from across the globe gathered in Hong Kong to compete in the prestigious Mathematical Olympiad. These participants represented the brightest mathematical minds from their respective countries. Among them was a team from North Korea, one of the most isolated nations in the world. The team consisted of 6 young men, all dressed in white shirts and black pants, with loyalty badges prominently displayed over their hearts. Among them was Jong-il-ri, whose demeanor was noticeably different from his teammates. While they appeared at ease, Jong-il seemed preoccupied, his gaze frequently shifting, as if burdened by concerns beyond the competition itself. Jong-il's journey began in a small North Korean town, where opportunities are often dictated by one's family background. He was fortunate to be born into a relatively privileged family, sparing him from some of the severe hardships that many in the country face. Families with historical ties to the anti-Japanese resistance or connections to the ruling elite typically enjoy better prospects. Recognizing his son's potential, Yong's father prioritized his education. Unlike many children who are assigned to manual labor or military training, Yong had the rare chance to focus on academics, particularly mathematics, where he showed exceptional promise from an early age. His father encouraged this talent by having him practice multiplication tables daily before he could go out to play. This rigorous routine paid off when Yong, at just 12 years old, won a national mathematics competition, outshining older students and drawing the attention of key figures in the North Korean education system. In North Korea, education is highly regimented, emphasizing loyalty to the regime alongside academic achievement. Yong's extraordinary aptitude for mathematics earned him a place in a specialized program for gifted students. As part of this program, he received a laptop equipped with mathematical tools to aid his training, an uncommon privilege in a country where such resources are scarce. Despite challenges like the lack of internet and frequent power outages, Jong found innovative solutions. He used a solar panel he constructed himself to charge his laptop and relied on a gasoline-powered generator during winter. His dedication and ingenuity propelled him to a spot on North Korea's team for the International Mathematical Olympiad, an event showcasing the world's most talented young mathematicians. Preparing for the International Mathematical Olympiad in North Korea is a rigorous process, as the country views success in such international competitions as a matter of national pride. Yong underwent intense training, spending countless hours solving advanced problems under the guidance of the nation's top mathematicians. This training wasn't just about sharpening Yong's math skills, it was also a way to instill a deep sense of duty and patriotism. The regime placed immense pressure on participants, expecting not just success but outright victory. Yong's first trip abroad was a transformative experience. Traveling to Colombia for the International Mathematical Olympiad marked his first time leaving North Korea, and the journey exposed him to a world vastly different from his own. From the brightly lit cities to the abundance of cars, everything felt unfamiliar and overwhelming. Despite the novelty of his surroundings, Yong and his team performed exceptionally well, securing 5th place globally, just behind powerhouses like China, South Korea, the United States, and Russia. Jong himself earned a silver medal, a significant accomplishment by any standard. However, for the North Korean regime, this wasn't enough. They had invested heavily in his training and expected nothing less than a gold medal. As Yong stood on the stage in Colombia, holding his silver medal, his thoughts were far from celebratory. Years of intense training and pressure from the regime weighed heavily on him. He couldn't help but question the true purpose behind the regime's interest in nurturing talents like his. He thought back to the moment he was handed his laptop, a rare privilege in his country. What was the regime's endgame? What did they hope to gain from his abilities? These questions consumed him, adding to his growing anxiety. Jong was at a crossroads, facing an uncertain future under the watchful eyes of a system that demanded absolute loyalty. Meanwhile, North Korea's cyber division had its roots in the 1970s, when students were sent to nations like Russia, China, and East Germany to master coding and other technical skills. The regime's focus on nurturing intellectual talent was part of a broader strategy, one that Yong was beginning to understand in ways he never anticipated. Initially, North Korea's cyber initiatives aimed to improve the efficiency of factories within the country. However, by the 1980s and 1990s, Kim Jong-il recognized the potential of developing a team of hackers for military purposes. This team was tasked with gathering intelligence for the government and generating revenue. In the early 1990s, the Korea Computer Center was established as the hub for North Korea's technological and cyber activities. The Korea Computer Center was part of Kim Jong-il's broader vision to modernize the country's technological capabilities. Initially focused on software and hardware development, the center soon expanded its scope to include cyber warfare and hacking. The Korea Computer Center became a training ground for the nation's brightest minds, equipping them with the expertise needed for advanced cyber operations. Under Kim Jong-un's leadership, the emphasis on cyber capabilities intensified. With North Korea's economy severely impacted by international sanctions due to its nuclear weapons program, the regime sought alternative ways to generate revenue. Cyber operations became an effective solution, offering a low-cost, high-reward method to circumvent sanctions and access global funds. Through cyber attacks on banks, cryptocurrency platforms, and international businesses, North Korea has stolen hundreds of millions of dollars. The regime has executed several high-profile cyber attacks that have drawn global attention. Notable examples include the Sony Pictures hack in 2014 and the Bangladesh bank heist in 2016. These operations have enabled North Korea to fund its activities despite the economic restrictions it faces. One of the most infamous entities driving these operations is the Lazarus Group, a government-backed hacking organization. Lazarus has been linked to numerous significant cyber attacks, demonstrating sophisticated techniques and causing substantial financial losses worldwide. The group's earliest known operation, Operation Troy, occurred in 2009. This cyber espionage campaign used distributed denial-of-service attacks to target the South Korean government. The rise of the Lazarus Group has prompted increased investment in cybersecurity by governments and private companies globally. Organizations like Sony have since bolstered their defenses, employing top cybersecurity experts and implementing advanced security measures to guard against future threats. Countries worldwide have begun sharing intelligence on North Korean cyber operations and collaborating on investigation to track and counter the activities of groups like the Lazarus Group. For instance, the United States has imposed sanctions on individuals and organizations linked to these cyber operations. One notable figure associated with the Lazarus Group is Park Jin-hyuk, a North Korean programmer charged by the U.S. Department of Justice in 2018. Park was accused of involvement in major cyber attacks, including the 2014 Sony Pictures hack and the 2016 Bangladesh bank heist. The charges against Park provided detailed insights into the group's methods, such as phishing emails, malware deployment, and social engineering tactics. This case was significant as it marked one of the first instances where an individual was publicly accused of conducting cyber attacks on behalf of North Korea. However, Park remains at large, believed to be in North Korea and beyond the reach of international law enforcement. His case underscores the challenges in holding North Korean hackers accountable. In North Korea, the path to becoming a cyber operative often starts at an early age. Talented students are identified through nationwide testing in subjects like mathematics and science. Those with exceptional skills are recruited into specialized programs, where they undergo rigorous training in computer science and hacking techniques. This training is comprehensive, covering areas such as network infiltration, malware creation, and software development. Recruits are taught to view the internet as a battlefield, using their skills to advance the regime's objectives. They spend extensive hours mastering these techniques to prepare for sophisticated cyber operations. The daily life of a North Korean cyber operative is highly regimented. Recruits live in state-run facilities under strict supervision. Their schedules are dominated by coding, computer science, and penetration testing exercises. Operatives typically work in teams, with each member specializing in a specific area of IT to execute assigned missions efficiently. Despite their isolation and demanding work environment, cyber operatives are among the elite in North Korean society. They enjoy privileges such as better housing, food, and other resources compared to the general population. The state provides them with advanced tools and equipment, though their activities are closely monitored to ensure loyalty and prevent unauthorized information leaks. This special treatment of North Korea's cyber operatives is a deliberate strategy by the regime to ensure their loyalty, prevent defections, and maintain their dedication to state missions. Defecting from North Korea is perilous, with extreme risks of capture or death. Escape typically involves crossing the heavily guarded borders, most often into China, as the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea is among the most dangerous borders in the world. North Korea enforces strict border controls with landmines, electric fences, and armed guards ordered to shoot on sight. Even after crossing into China, defectors face the threat of being caught by Chinese authorities, who often repatriate them. Returning to North Korea almost always leads to severe punishment. Captured defectors face brutal persecution, and their families are often sent to labor camps. To discourage defections, the regime employs a combination of propaganda, fear, and control. Propaganda portrays the outside world, particularly South Korea and the United States, as dangerous and hostile, while glorifying North Korean life and leadership. Despite widespread poverty and starvation, this messaging is reinforced by the regime's strict control over information. Foreign media and internet access are virtually non-existent, and state-controlled media disseminates pro-regime narratives to instill loyalty and fear of the outside world. The regime also uses the threat of collective punishment as a powerful deterrent. If someone defects, their family members who remain in North Korea often face imprisonment, persecution, or even execution. This policy of guilt by association can affect up to 3 generations, making it a potent tool for controlling potential defectors. Travel within North Korea is tightly restricted, with citizens requiring permits to move between regions. International travel is nearly impossible for ordinary citizens. The regime further controls food distribution and employment, ensuring that the population remains dependent on the state for survival. Surveillance is pervasive, with secret police and informants monitoring citizens constantly. People are incentivized to report suspicious activities, creating an atmosphere of distrust. Public executions of captured escapees serve as grim reminders of the consequences of attempting to flee. Despite these obstacles, a small number of North Koreans manage to defect each year. For Jong Il-ri, the reality of his situation became clear after returning home from the 2015 Mathematical Olympiad. He learned from a friend that senior officials from a secretive government agency were interviewing his close friends and relatives. It became evident that the state planned to use his mathematical talents by assigning him a position as a hacker. The thought filled him with dread. Working in one of the most isolated and controlled sections of the military would mean complete separation from society and the loss of any personal freedom. Jong Il-ri understood that if he were ordered to join North Korea's cyber warfare program, refusal was not an option. He also realized that his participation in the Mathematical Olympiad would end when he turned 18, giving him only one more opportunity to escape. That chance came during the 2016 Mathematical Olympiad, held at the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. Knowing this was his last opportunity, Jong carefully planned his move. At the competition, he wasn't closely monitored and maintained a friendly relationship with the teachers accompanying the team. After earning another silver medal, Jong seized the moment. He left the dormitory where he was staying, hailed a taxi to the airport, and, with the assistance of an airline worker, obtained the address of the South Korean consulate. From there, he took another taxi to the consulate and declared his intention to defect. Jong spent 70 tense days in Hong Kong, while South Korean officials negotiated his safe transfer to Seoul. Following his defection, North Korea halted its participation in the Mathematical Olympiad for 2 years and now sends government agents with the team to prevent similar escapes. Today, Jong is in his early 30s and lives under a South Korean name. He pursued his passion for mathematics, earning a degree from Seoul National University. Despite his new life, he has not been able to see his parents since his defection.